You are about to be locked inside the Stingray Show, and coming up on this edition, we're going to be talking with a wide receiver at Auburn who played in 2011 through 2014. He was an All SEC honors in 2014. He was an SEC champion in 2013 and played in the BCS National Championship Game in 2014 against Florida State. Sammie Coates, former Auburn wide receiver, joins me on this edition of the Stingray Show right now.
Hi, this is Tim Brando with a reminder. Those of you on Tide 100.9, look out. You're about to feel the buzz of Stingray.
War Eagle, hey, welcome inside another edition of the Stingray Show, and we are about to be joined by a native of Leroy, Alabama, who played in 37 games at Auburn with 82 receptions for 1,760 yards and 13 touchdowns. Like I said off the top, he was an SEC champion in 2013 and played in the BCS National Championship Game, the very last one against Florida State there in 2014. Please help me welcome to the Stingray Show, Mr. and now Coach Sammie Coates. Sammie, how are things with you this evening, my friend? Hey, Sammie, I'm sorry, I can't hear you. You may have to exit and come back. You may have to exit and come back. Coach, you got me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I got you. You got me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. So, Coach, how are things with you, my friend?
It's going good. I can't complain at all.
So, Sammie, recently you became the coach of a new school up in North Alabama. Congratulations on that. And tell us a little bit about that hire and how that opportunity came about.
I was coaching college ball and I wanted to, be my own boss and run my own team and see what I can do being a head coach. And I seen this opportunity. You think about a team that haven't won a game in 10 years. I was like, this ain't no way. Ain't no way this team's not won a game in 10 years. You can accidentally win a game in football. So I was like, you know what? I feel like I can come in and help and change the program and help these kids understand something that I got to understand for football. So I just took it and ran with it.
So, Coach, congratulations on that. And what school are you currently coaching at?
I'm at Columbia High School in Huntsville, Alabama.
Okay, awesome. All right, so let's go back to Leroy, Alabama, where it all began. Who were some of your idols growing up that you wanted to mold your game like?
To be honest, I was a big baseball fan. I used to love Derek Jeter. Uh, I used to love A-Rod. I used to love Barry Bonds. Like Sammy Sosa was my favorite just because we had the same name. I really wasn't a big football person growing up because I played baseball since I was like 3. So then I started to like football. So it's kind of like weird. I never had a really like a role model when it came to football because it wasn't my sport at first.
So, Sammie, what made you ultimately decide to give up baseball for football?
When I was about 8, 9 years old, my dad died in a car accident, and baseball had so many ties to us that it kind of like bring back a lot of memories. So I kind of like trying to shift away from baseball to go to another sport that didn't bring so much memories, because he was my coach in baseball. He was always my baseball coach. So I kind of like stopped loving the game because it brought so many memories. So I kind of went to football after that, and yeah, after that it was all she wrote.
So, Sammy, let's go to in 2010. You won MVP of the Alabama Class 2A state championship after hauling in 5 catches, rushing 6 times, and oddly enough, punting twice for 63 yards. What was that like for you to punt in a championship game? That had to be weird, huh?
That's crazy that you say that. I actually kicked off too as well. So I was a kicker, I was a punter. It was fun, it was unique that I could do those things, but looking back at it, it's a good memory. I can tell my kids one day, like, hey, I was a punter too. I wasn't just a receiver. I kicked off too. I had like 10 touchbacks. So it was awesome. It was especially to do it in Jordan Hare Stadium. To do all those things was amazing.
Yes. So your championship game was in Jordan Hare.
Yes, sir, it was.
Awesome, man. That's awesome. All right. So coming out of high school, you had offers from Southern Miss and Auburn. What made you decide to choose Auburn over Southern Miss?
I was not highly recruited coming out of high school. My first offer actually came from Southern Miss. I think I was in my 10th grade when I got that offer. And just for them to want me at that age, that young, that was one of my reasons why I was committed to them to go there. But when I got the chance to go to the camp at Auburn and earn a scholarship from them, I knew I had bigger and better plans ahead of my life. So I was like, I couldn't turn Auburn University down, being from Alabama. So it was just a no brainer at that point.
So, Sammie, was there any uh, interaction or any push from Alabama to recruit you during that time? Uh-oh.
Um,
Coach?
can you hear me?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got
So I was getting recruited by a lot of schools, but nobody wanted to offer me because of the size of my school that I played at Leroy. It was 2A. Alabama was recruiting me heavy. I was going to a lot of games, but they wanted me to come to a camp, and I was like, I don't want to come to a camp. Like I was like, either gonna offer me or you're not. But a lot of schools were talking to me. It was the fact they just wanted to see me in person, just being from that smaller school, graduating with 65 people in my class. So people don't want to, back then they didn't want to put money on somebody because it was more about, I got to get something now. Like if
yeah.
it was these days, if it was 2025 when I was coming out, I probably would have had every offer in the country.
So, Sammie, what was it like for you meeting Gene Chizik for the very first time? Because at that time, Gene Chizik and Auburn were coming off of a national championship with Cam Newton.
That is true. The funny thing about that, I was in, we was playing a playoff game the night before they won in Tuscaloosa in 2010, and when I got a chance to go to that camp that summer, right before that season, when they went to the national championship and getting to meet new guys, and it was pretty cool. But my first interaction with Gene Chizik was at that camp when I got the offer from Auburn. They brought me into his office, and I didn't like know much about Auburn because I was an Alabama fan growing up. So I'm in the office, sitting down in this big glass office, looking over the practice field, and Gene Chizik coming walking out. Hey, we're gonna offer you today. So just know you got to offer from us. I said, because I was nervous. I was committed to Southern Miss at the time. I was like, so what am I supposed to do about something? He said, don't worry about that. We'll take care of it.
Right.
So it was pretty cool to sit in his office to get the offer from him. So that was like one of the coolest things that I think had happened to me in my life at the time. So it was pretty cool.
So, Sammie, growing up an Alabama fan, how difficult was it for you to play at Auburn being an Alabama fan?
It wasn't difficult at all.
Okay.
Being a fan is just something temporary sometimes. So you can stop liking the team real fast. I was young. I still have a lot of respect for Alabama and what they had done with their program. I never disliked them, even when I was a player at Auburn. But I bleed blue and orange now. I'll
Yes.
always and be thankful for the opportunity I had at Auburn. I had a great time, had a lot of fun, met a lot of friends. It was just truly a blessing to be able to play at Auburn, to be honest.
And a quick follow up to that, being an Alabama fan during your recruitment, did you ever have any reaction with Coach Nick Saban?
Not necessarily.
Oh,
I got to meet him a few times. I know when I went to Tuscaloosa and I had that big game, he made a comment after the game about it. That was about the only thing. When I had 205 yards for 4 catches, it
Yeah.
was like so. It was unique. I actually got to meet him a few times in the recruiting process. So, um,
And Sammie, your first season at Auburn, unfortunately in 2011, you missed the entire season due to a foot injury. So your first game action came a year later in 2012 versus Clemson. Please describe what that moment was like for you, getting your first action of your college career on the road at a neutral site game.
yeah, 2012 was a year that nobody will forget that's been an Auburn player or an Auburn fan. It was one of the years where we didn't do too well. So, but that game, being from a smaller town like Leroy, Alabama, with like 800, 900 people in it, then walking to the Atlanta dome, seeing all those people, the fans, and you know, it was a blessing, man. I never thought I'd be in that situation where I'd be playing against Clemson, seeing Sammy Watkins and all those guys that was on Clemson team. Just to be a part of that game, to be on that team was a blessing for me. It was
Yeah.
a eye opening for me to see that, oh crap, this is how a college football game is like me on the sideline. So it was awesome.
So, 2 weeks later, against Louisiana Monroe, you caught your first touchdown pass of your career on a Hail Mary at the end of the first half. Walk us through your first touchdown as an Auburn Tiger as you remember it, please.
All I remember that game, I wasn't starting yet, but I was a Hail Mary guy because I was a bigger guy. So we called timeout. It was like, hey, you going in? We got a Hail Mary. You the Hail Mary guy. So I get in, he snapped the ball, and I see him roll out. He rolled back around, like he scrambled around, and he just launched it. I said, oh, I'm catching this ball. And I just jumped up and snatched it out of the air. It was like three people in front of me. I said, hey, I gotta have it. I gotta show them that I'm a player. So after that, it kind of like changed my career.
Man, that's awesome. And talk about the energy and the excitement when you scored that touchdown of Jordan Hare Stadium going nuts.
Oh man, it ain't nothing like scoring a touchdown at Jordan Hare Stadium. The best fans in the world. They are very loyal. They are the most loyal fans I ever seen in my life. Win, lose, they got your back. Man, it's nothing like Auburn. Man, you once you score a touchdown in that place, it is gonna let loose. You can't hear, you can't think, get blurry. That noise radiates so much energy, and it makes you just go to a different level as a player.
Awesome. So, Sammie, unfortunately, the first season for you on the field, there was a little bit of turmoil as Auburn and Gene Chizik parted ways. What was that process like of losing your head coach? And did you ever consider transferring?
I'm not a big fan of transferring, so that never crossed my mind. I feel like if I start somewhere, I got to finish there.
Yeah.
Um, Second, when Gene Chizik, parted from the team and we went separate ways, it was kind of hard. Gene Chizik gave me my opportunity at Auburn. But when I found out who the next head coach was, I was like back in happy spirit because he was my offensive coordinator when I first got there. So it was like a love hate thing.
Yeah.
I hated to see him go, but I loved to see Malzahn come in because Malzahn did recruit me. So it was like oh, okay. I wasn't really losing anything. I was like I'm gaining something. So it was never like a problem for me at that point. So
So, Sammie, what was your welcome to the SEC moment? Like, okay, this is next level, man.
I would say it was practice. I was at practice and I caught a whole shot and I got hit really hard and I stayed on the ground for about a minute. I can't remember who it was that hit me. But I tell people all the time the SEC is really hard because you got so many talented players
Yeah.
and you got to be at your top game every day because somebody's trying to take your job. And it's kind of like the NFL. I tell people all the time, like, SEC was hard, man. You got a guy right behind you that runs a 4-3. So you don't have time to feel sorry for yourself. You got to just go be consistent every day.
So, Sammie, you talked about Coach Gene Chizik leaving, and in comes Gus Malzahn with the hurry up, let's go tempo offense. Talk about the transition on offense of going from what Gene Chizik ran to what Gus Malzahn ran, please.
So Gus was there in 2011. I got a little taste of the pace offense. Then Scott Leffler came in 2012. We had a pro style offense.
Yeah.
So then we went back to Malzahn's fast pace, hurry up, get it going.
Yeah.
It was a lot. Practice sucked. Every day we started practice with a tempo practice, and that was terrible. Like you had like 8 or 9 plays where you don't get a break, you're just going fast. And I tell you what, you're gonna find out if you love football when you're in that fast-paced offense because it's gonna be hot. It's all gives is camp, and we running 40 to 50 plays. And one group go to the next group back up. One group go to the next group back up. It was like, oh man, like you better get your act together. I tell you that with Malzahn's offense.
Sammie, I remember when he was first hired, his first few years at Auburn, every time y'all would catch the football in a game, they would pan to him on the sidelines and be like, all right, let's go, let's go, let's go. Get up to the line, let's go, let's go.
Yeah, his favorite word was run it, run it, run it, run it. And we already knew the play because once we run it, we gas you on one play, we finna gas you on the same play again. You better be ready.
All right, so let's move to the 2013 season, the year that Auburn won the SEC championship and made it to the BCS National Championship Game. Sammie, when did you personally know that that team was going to be special?
The summer, in the summertime, we was putting in so much extra work as players. Player run practices was everybody was there. Nobody ever missed. We had a great talent at quarterback. We had great talent on defense. Um, our offensive line was very veteran guys. They played together for a few years, and how close we were that whole summer told me what we was gonna do that year. Nobody didn't believe it, but we kind of had that feeling and that vibe that hey, we finna do something special this year. And everything else was history that year. I tell people all the time that it's one of the craziest things I've ever been a part of. Being a part of the worst team in Auburn history, turn around to be one of the best teams in Auburn history. So it was a unique experience. So that year was special.
So let's dive into it, Sammie. Let's start with the Georgia game in which Georgia was down 37-17 and fought all the way back to take the lead. Talk about the wave of emotion leading up to the prayer at Jordan Hare, please.
Oh man, that game. A lot of people don't know. Aaron Murray had a phenomenal game that game.
Yeah.
He was torching us, and he's such a good quarterback. He got hurt in that game and came back in to finish the game. And a lot of people don't know. I think he tore his ACL that game, if I'm not mistaken. But that whole game was like a fist fight. Like we thought we was like going to end it up that Aaron Murray came out and just started dropping dimes left and right, dropping dimes.
Right.
And we get to that last part of the game. And the game wasn't even over when he caught the touchdown. That's the crazy part.
Yeah.
Aaron Murray came back and started driving down. I was like, oh crap. But right before that play happened, right before the miracle Jordan had, we call a timeout.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never forget it. We go to the sideline. Malzahn looked me in my face. Hey, we're going to run this play. Are you ready? Are you going to be able to catch this? Fourth down at like 20, fourth down at 18, I think.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I'm going to catch it. I'm ready. All right, Nick, look at me. Hey, you better be ready. Say, I'm going to throw it to you. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna be ready. And so we getting ready to go back out. He said, we're going to run the play. It's coming to you, Sam. It's coming to you. So we get out there, snap the ball. I run my route. I'm about like 18 yards. I had an end cut. Wide open. Ain't nobody on me. Nobody. Right. If you go back and look at the film, you will see me wide open in the middle of the field. All I see is Nick launch back. I see him drop his shoulder. When I seen that shoulder go back, I say, ain't no way he's throwing the ball to me. It's no way he's throwing this ball to me. Right. I just see the ball launch out of his hand. And I'm looking at the ball go over my head. I'm like, is this real? It's real life. I'm looking at the ball just fly over my head. And I look back and I see Ricardo. and I see 3 Georgia players on recorder. I said, "Oh my God, we can lose this game." I just dropped my head. I just hit a crowd just erupt, like it was like the loudest thing I ever heard. And I look up, Rick's running in the end zone. I was like, "Oh my God, he just caught this ball!" Like I didn't even see what happened till the replay came. I was like, "What happened?" So I could
Right.
have sworn I seen 2 defenders jump up for this ball. Like so I just dropped my head when I seen them jump up because I said it's pick. I drop my head, I look up. He's in the end zone. Half of the team celebrating. I'm still in the middle of the field. So I'm trying to watch the replay. I watched the replay. I said, the ball got tipped up and he caught it with one hand. That's how we can win this game. So it was like crazy to see that. And I missed it because I was like, dang, the ball post came to me. I was being selfish. And, and it was one of those
Right.
things where it worked out perfect.
So, Sammie, what did you do after you realized he caught the touchdown in the middle of the field?
Oh, I took off. I took off to go meet him in the end zone. I was like,
Right.
oh man. It was meant to be.
Yeah. Sammie, 2 weeks later, because there was a bye week in between, you guys welcomed in #1 Alabama. And on that night, the winner goes to the SEC championship game. The loser goes home and stays at home. Sammie, talk about, before we get into that game, the hype going into the Iron Bowl with both teams. The winner goes to the SEC championship game.
First, I would just remind everybody how powerful the SEC was that year.
Yeah.
You had Texas A&M that had Johnny Manziel and Mike Evans. You had Georgia that had that squad. You had LSU that was pretty decent that year. But going into that game, I think we was number 3 or number 4 at the time, and Alabama was number 1. And all you could thought this is when they bring out this hype video about the Iron Bowl and the trees, like all that stuff was coming out. And it was just like so much noise going up into the game, like crazy noise. Like it was like it's all people was talking about in the nation, not
Yeah.
just Alabama. It was like nationwide. This is the biggest game. This is the biggest game. Coming up that Thursday, that Friday, and we go to the hotel in Montgomery, and
Mhm.
you go in the meetings, you can just feel it. Like this is about to be a game.
Right.
Just like the vibe that you got in the meeting room, the vibes you got from the coaches, the speech, and it was just like, oh man, like this is bigger than the Super Bowl right now. That's how it felt. Like it's bigger than the Super Bowl. Yeah, walking into the stadium, it was crazy. It was so loud, a beautiful day, and you just couldn't put nothing better than just being at that moment. They call out the roster pregame, and they get to my name. It was super, super loud, and I was like, "Oh man, this about to be a game. Like it's about to be rocking." Kickoff come, and it just turned into a fist fight. Floyd Mayweather type fight. Punch was thrown, one throwback. Punch was thrown, one thrown back. Nick having a heck of a game. Nick going off, Trey going off. I'm like, "Oh man, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna come down to the end." Everybody knows it's coming down to the end.
Yeah.
We get into that fourth quarter, and we got that one drive that we going down the drive, and it's like a minute and 43 seconds left on the clock, I think. And we steady going down, and we taking time off the clock because we trying to score, put this thing away.
Yeah.
Our score tied up. I think they was up 28-21 at the time.
Yeah.
We got a score. So we get down to like the 35, 40-yard line. And I think it's like second and 4, second and 5, something like that. And we get the play call, zone read, and every zone read always got the option to throw it. But we haven't done it all year. We haven't thrown this pass. We have not all year thrown this pass. So call Hut, and I see Nick scramble to my side. I said, oh man. But I see Alabama defense bring the safety down, the corner come off me, and everybody's going to Nick because Nick's been rushing like crazy this game. Like I think at the time he probably had 120 some yards rushing at the time, somewhere in there. And everybody comes off. The linebacker goes, the safety goes, the corner. I'm just standing there wide open, and I see Nick see me, and he do a weird crap with his arm, like the ball come out. So I know he's not about to throw this ball, and it just comes out weird. I don't know if anybody paid attention to how he threw the ball. He pushed it to me. It wasn't even a throw. It's like a push. And I see the ball, I said, I gotta catch this ball. Like my eyes get big. I'm kind of nervous. Like this is a big moment in the game. So
Yeah.
I body catch. I like catch it like this. It's like, oh crap, ain't nobody here. I just take off. Touchdown. I said, oh man, like crowd goes crazy. It is insane. It's really loud. Kick the ball back to them. They come down driving. It's 28-28. I said, oh my God. Everybody on the sideline like, oh man. So they get to throw the ball to TJ Yeldon. He go up
Yeah.
the left sideline and gets a big game. I think it was like they had got a flag or something. He got a big game. And they get to like the 49, somewhere in there. And the clock's still running. And we just see Nick call a timeout. I was like, oh wow. He gonna stop the clock. But they didn't get it. So we was like, okay, whatever. Then they took a look at it, made sure it was how much time they had on the clock, and it came down to 1 second. And we knew we would have won the overtime with Alabama. It was going to be harder to beat them.
Yeah.
So when he called a timeout, we knew he was going to kick the field goal. So everybody was just on the sideline. Oh man, this kicker's decent. He had a strong foot. Everybody knew that. Like he had a strong foot. So it was like, oh man, it's gonna come down to a field goal. How we gonna win? Lose the Iron Bowl and not go to the SEC championship? So get to that big moment, the KickSix. We all sit down. I'm at the farthest end to where Chris is gonna run the back there. I'm at the far end. So I'm just on one knee. I'm like praying, doing all hoping that he missed this kick. I didn't know they put Chris in the back. So I look up and said, oh, we got a player back there. Because he kind of blend in with the crowd. So I'm looking like, is that Chris? I see the ball get kicked. It's a good hit. Like the kid booted it. It was like a couple, like 3 to 4 inches short. Like Chris caught the ball nearly on the back end of the end zone. I just see him start running. And I look at Alabama players. I said, they don't have no skill players on the field. Oh, crap. I stand up. Chris hit the sideline. I said, he's about to score. Then I see his foot get close to the line. I said, oh, man, they're going to challenge this. He get to the 50. I said, oh, man, he's finna score, but it's coming back. That's what I'm thinking in my head because I'm watching him come off the sideline. He scores. It goes crazy. Like I'm playing a lot of football games. I have never seen this or experienced what happened when he scored. Like how fast it happened. Like it just, bam, craziness. Like it was crazy. The fact that he didn't step out of bounds blows my mind to this day. Like that, he's a heck of a player. Chris is a phenomenal player. He always been a special player. But that play, it would never be another play that he made. And one thing that pissed me off about it is that he had to do that after I scored a touchdown to tie the game up right before that. And I was like, this dude just took all my shine. But it was pretty cool, and I was lucky to be a part of that, man. And Chris was a heck of a player, so he deserved everything he got for making that play.
So, Sammie, I do have to ask, what is it like knowing that if you don't catch that touchdown pass, there is no KickSix in Auburn, Alabama history?
Oh, man. Looking back at it, at the time, I didn't know how big that catch was.
Yeah.
Like, that catch not only saved us, that catch set us up for the win.
Yeah.
So we could that one play that Nick made. It wasn't me. My job is to catch the ball. So that's a plus. The play Nick made to make that happen was special. That should tell everybody how special that team was. The smartness, the quickness, the savageness of him making that play to throw it off balance, one push, like. Everything about that play was special, and for me to finish it was an awesome feeling. I'll never forget it. I don't think nobody else will either.
The following week, after the KickSix, Auburn played in the SEC Championship Game against number 5 Missouri. Talk about the hype leading into that game, especially coming off of the incredible win versus Alabama in the KickSix.
The hype for us was that we knew if we won that SEC championship, we was going to the national championship. Like we already knew. Because the strength of our schedule set it up for who was going to have a better chance of going over. So we going in that game with a different mindset. Like, we got to win this game. We got to beat Missouri. We knew Missouri had a good quarterback, had a good receiver, had a good defense. So we prepared for that game like it was a national championship itself. Like, we went all out for that game. Guys were so serious. We met real. Our meetings was like no other meetings we ever had that year. Um, we get to Atlanta and we get in that dome, and something clicks when you get inside a dome or an NFL stadium, especially being a college player. Walking in the locker room, seeing all the stuff they have in their locker rooms and stuff like that, and you get in there, and we the home team. So that's making it even special. Like, we the home team in Atlanta. So our fans was loud. We had a lot of fans in there at that game, and from the time kickoff until the end of that game, we owned them. We knew it. We didn't miss a beat that whole game. Like, the plays that was being made, the scrambling that Nick Marshall was doing, the Trey Mason Biggs runs, like, our players that needed to play started playing from the time the ball was kicked until the time we ended that game. It was like we came in with a purpose, knowing we was going to the national championship. That was a mindset we had going into that game. We knew they would have gonna have to bring a super A game to beat us that game.
So, Sammie, a quick follow up to that of the SEC championship game. What are some of your fondest memories of playing in and winning the SEC championship?
Oh man, the catch that Nick threw to me, when he scrambled out, we did like a little trip flea flicker pass, and Nick made it happen. He threw a perfect dime to the back of the end zone, and that play was special to me because it gave us a lot more momentum. I think we was up already by like two touchdowns, and that took I think it was 14-0 at the time, and that's put up 21-6. I think somewhere in that around there. Um, and then the next drive, I think I had a big screenplay, and it was like just I felt amazing going in it. Like, it was just I was having so much fun. It was like I wasn't even playing the game. It was more like, dang, this is like fun. Like, we were just having so much fun, and I think that was the special part about it. The sideline was fun. Like, everything, the atmosphere was amazing. It was just like nothing you can draw up or plan. It was happening.
So, Sammie, let's go to something a little bit disappointing. Let's move to the national championship game, and Auburn had a lead 21 to 10 in that game, but lost 34 to 31. Looking back, what happened in that game that ultimately led to, unfortunately, Auburn losing the last ever BCS National Championship game?
I would say special teams. They won the special team battle. If you take their two big special team plays away, they do not win that game. The kickoff return, right before half, and the fourth down punt that they got, fake punt that they got. And a lot of people don't know. As being a coach, I know this, and being a player that played so many years. If you win a couple battles on special team, you got a big chance to win that game. That's still in possession. If you can steal a few possessions, and that's what happened. They got the big kickoff return that gave them momentum. And I would say that fake punt, if they don't get that fake punt, they don't win the game. That fake punt on fourth down changes the whole game. So I think those two plays is where it hurt us the most. Kidding that we made some other mistakes in that game, but those two plays killed us. I think every player on our team played really well. I think when that play to Benjamin in the back of the end zone, I think Chris David played it really, really good. I think it was Chris Davis or Mancy. It was one of them. It was good coverage. It was really good coverage. It was just a better play by him, and a good throw by Winston. The missed tackle, that was a fluke thing that, like, we missed that tackle and he goes 85 yards. That never happens. It's just they got more big plays than we did. And at the end of the day, it's one of the sorest things that I have to deal with in my life. Still think about it like it was yesterday. Think about the plays. They was double teaming me that game. I didn't have a lot of opportunities to go deep. But other guys did. That what helped. They double teamed me, left the middle of the field open. We took advantage of it. I think Rick had a couple big plays. Melvin Ray had some big plays that game. And Trey played lights out that game. That last drive, we had a chance to go score on that last play. Just that game was, just mental mistakes that we made on our end that gave them the win. Florida State didn't beat us. Auburn beat us. And I tell everybody that. Florida State didn't beat us. Auburn beat us. So we beat ourselves in a title game, and that's how it ended. It sucks, but, it still was true a blessing to be able to play in the BCS championship. I can tell you that. It's a once in a lifetime. I wish we would have came out with the win, but hey, it happened. We did our errors, and they took advantage of our errors.
So, Sammie, I do want to ask you, being a player and a coach now, talk about the athlete in college that Jameis Winston was.
He's a phenomenal player, very smart guy. A lot of people don't think he's very smart. He don't have any quit in him. I can tell you that. He never missed a beat. We was on him in the first half, but he still came out the next half a different person. Like he never stopped playing, and those are the type of players you want on your team. He's a true leader when it came to that. I could tell the guys rallied around him, but that guy never quit that game, and it showed up.
So, Sammie, let's go to your final season at Auburn. Auburn took a trip to Manhattan, Kansas to play Kansas State, oddly enough, on a Thursday night. What was that experience like of playing on the road in an unfamiliar territory and on a Thursday night?
That team we played was really, really good. I don't think they get enough credit. They played us lights out. Their defense was hitting. Those guys was flying around. Like I think Tyler Lockett was there. Um, and I know Tyler Lockett pretty well, but Tyler Lockett was going off against us. He was making plays left and right. That team was a hard-nosed fighting team. I think there was a lot of walk-ons on that team. I think that team was developed with a lot of walk-on guys, and they played us harder than anybody else played us that year, I think. And that was probably one of the toughest games. I don't even think I had that many catches that game. I think I had like 3 or 4 catches. But they played lights out. It was a hard fighting game, I tell you that. It was they fans was loud.
So, Sammie, one of the things that we don't have very much of in the SEC are Thursday night games. Talk about how different it is to prep for a Thursday night game rather than a typical normal Saturday game.
It shortens you up. The preparation is a lot different. You can't throw in a lot more stuff as you game planning for a full week. You have to shorten practice. You got to take a lot off guys because we probably had a game that Saturday, and that's a quick turnaround. It takes
Mhm.
3 days to recover as an athlete that trains and plays. 3 days is typical of recovery time, and now you shorten it up by what 3 days. So yeah, it's a short turnaround. Your body's not prepared. You're still gonna be a little fatigued from the week before. You got to take care of your body at a different level. You got to get more rest. You got to eat. You got to hydrate. It's just a quick turnaround. You got to be prepared for it. You got to be willing to sacrifice a little bit of your spare time to get ready for that next week.
All right. So, Sammie, I do not criticize the officials enough about the play. Later that season, you guys played the famous 2 versus 3 matchup in Starkville between Mississippi State and Auburn. And in the second half, Auburn was down 28-13, and Nick Marshall hit you down the sidelines all the way to the Mississippi State 10. But it was called back by an offensive pass interference that you did nothing.
That wouldn't hurt my stacks. I was gonna be 1,000 yard player that year. If I get that, I'm 1,000 yards receiver.
Yep.
That play still haunts me, bothers me. I don't know what the ref had against me. I don't know if I was the nicest guy in the world. I never argue. I never talk trash. I was like, why me on a big play that we needed at the time? And it's just one of those things where, as a player, that showed my true character because I wanted to let it loose. I'm looking at my coach like, what I do? Like he looking at me like I don't know. I think Damian Craig was the coach at the time. I was like, man, that had me sick, man. That was the worst call I've probably ever seen in my life.
Now, Gus Malzahn absolutely lost it on the sidelines.
He
Talk
did.
about his reaction to that as you remember it, please.
Malzahn is one of the most unique, special coaches I've ever been around. Great guy, but he's different. He doesn't curse, so when he's mad, the words he chooses to use, you be like, how did I even go in this situation? You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be freaking kidding. It's like the way he goes off on you. You try to take him serious, but you can't because he's saying words that you know supposed to be other words. So it's like, all right, I'm listening. Like, that's the worst freaking caller I ever seen. Like, he just going in and no curse word came out at any point. I'm like, how? How is he getting on this dude? And I know the ref was like, huh? Is he like yelling at me in a nice manner? Like, like that's how you look at Malzahn when he's yelling at you. And the way like he chooses words and the way he said, it makes you feel like, dang it, like what? Like calls you a skirt, you a freaking skirt. Like I'm like the way he goes about it, it makes you like, dang, I can't even be mad or like
Right.
nothing. Like I know the ref felt that way in that game because he was yelling at it, but the way he was yelling at him, like I don't know if he thinks it's a mean thing or I don't know. But that it was crazy. That whole situation was crazy. Malzahn was heated. I'm surprised he didn't get throughout the game because he never let it go. He was
Right.
still going, and when the next play happened, I was like, oh man.
So, Sammie, besides that play, talk about that game and the incredible atmosphere that you guys walked into with even college game day being on campus in Starkville for the first time.
Man, Starkville had a good team that year. I think they had Banks at DB that year. I
Yeah.
think they had Dak at quarterback. They had a running back that was really good that year. Their offensive line was set. They had a D lineman. They had two D linemen that was really good. Um, that game was really good, but I don't think we showed up that game. I
Right.
think we went into that game with the expectation we supposed to beat Mississippi State. That's how I look. I remember the preparation and everything. Like we was just flat that whole game. Like we was flat. Nobody was making plays. I think Duke made a few plays that game. Duke had a really good game that year. That game, I think. But I don't think we showed up to play that game like we normally did. And I think that's what the biggest problem was. Being on the road. I think we actually took buses to that game, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
And I think on the way to that game, we had a flat tire or something. We had to stop. I think it was either that game or Ole Miss. This is one of those games we took a bus to, and it was like, oh man, this is crazy. But yeah, it's one of those things where you look back like, damn, we didn't play Auburn football that game.
So, Sammie, I'm going to put you on the spot here. In your opinion, because you played against both, which is more annoying? The war chant of Florida State or the cowbells in Mississippi State in Starkville?
Oh, definitely cowbells.
Okay.
It's the worst sound in the world. It's like I don't even know how they don't like it is annoying like just hearing bells and it don't feel like it's a football game. I feel like it's like a baseball game or like that's like I was like why
Right.
this like it annoys your players too. I bet like nobody want to hear freaking bells at a football game. Florida State's chant actually is pretty cool. Because they did it in the national championship game. It was like it gets rocking. Like it gives you chills as an opposite team. So I like it's one of those things where is it really bothering us? It's kind of hyping me up. Like so, I would definitely say Mississippi State with the Bills.
Okay. All right. Now let's move to the best game of your career, which came on a 5 catches for 206 yards and 2 touchdowns in the Iron Bowl against Alabama in 2014. Talk about that record setting performance for Auburn against Alabama in the Iron Bowl.
A lot of people don't know this, but that whole year I was hurt. I hurt my knee against Arkansas. I think Arkansas was like the first game, second one of the games, first and second. at practice, and I had to wear a knee brace the whole year, like an offensive line knee brace, not like a regular knee brace. So we get to Alabama, and the doctor finally told me I can play without my knee brace. Like I could play without it, and because I tore my meniscus, and I played the whole season with a torn meniscus. So I get to that Alabama game, and it was like, hey, you don't have to wear it. And I took it off. I felt like a different person. Like I could run better. I can. That's why I looked like I was so fast. People were like, dude, you looked fast that game. I said, well, the whole season I had this fat knee brace on, and I was running with a limp.
Yeah.
And I think going into that game, I got a little more confidence because the whole year I was mentally hurt. Like I knew I was hurt. I knew I had a torn meniscus. I knew I was fighting for my team because I wanted to try to get back to the national championship, And in that game, I just wanted to prove people that I was a really good player. And that year, I felt like it wasn't my best year because I was fighting through a lot of things mentally. And to get to that game and do what I did was special to me. Doing against Alabama, in the state of Alabama, it means a lot to me. A lot of people don't know that game meant the world to me. To have that kind of game, in front of the state of Alabama against Alabama was special. And I'll always remember it for the rest of my life.
So, Sammie, I've got 4 questions left for you, and then I will let you go. The first one, you decided to forego your senior season for the NFL draft. Looking back on it now, do you regret not returning for your final season at Auburn?
No. And the reason why is because at the time I was like, I don't know if I can go back. My body's already beat up from college. Why go back another year when I got a chance? I knew I had a high draft grade. I knew if I would have stayed another year, it's probably going to drop even lower because I had injuries. So I wanted to get out while I was hot, and yeah, and I just said I had to make a decision that was best for me and my family at the time.
So, you played for 2 seasons with the Pittsburgh Steelers after being drafted as the 86th pick in the draft. What were some of your highlights of the time that you were a Steeler?
Man, a great organization. Steelers got a really great organization from the top to the bottom. It was awesome getting to play with Hall of Fame type guys, Big Ben, Antonio Brown, James Harrison, all those guys, man. Yeah, I learned so much about the game, being around so many Hall of Fame type guys that made me get into coaching. It's one of the reasons why I got to get into coaching because I got to play with Mike Tomlin, one of the most respected coaches in the NFL. Just those things itself was special. And the Steelers, you know how the Steelers are known for, hard nosed football, tough football, and it was one of those things where you had to come in and be tough and fight through some things, and it was a great experience.
So, Sammy, looking back over your entire career, whether it be at Pittsburgh in the NFL or at Auburn, which game that you played in means the most to you and why?
Um, I would say college against Alabama when I had 5 catches, 204 yards. Just me being an Alabama fan when I was young, converted to Auburn and went to Auburn and getting to do that to my last career game. You can't take nothing away from that. That's special. A lot of kids in the state of Alabama dream of playing in the Iron Bowl. I got to do it and I got to set a record. We still tie the record. Me and Amari Cooper still tie the record for most yards in a one game. I think he had like 200 some yards and I had 200 some yards. So it was a special thing, and I know I got it. It's you can't take that away from me, and I get to talk about that for the rest of my life.
So, Coach Sammie Coates, I have thoroughly enjoyed interviewing you here. My final question for you, can you please share with us both your favorite Gene Chizik story and your favorite Gus Malzahn story?
Gene was a different person. I think that so I think it's 2012, and we had some stuff that happened outside of football, and Gene come in the meeting room. He's like, you know what? I'm sick of you players. You think you just this, you think you that. I got something for you. He puts us on curfew. like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. We can't, even if you stay on campus. And the moment he said, y'all got curfew every day, weekend, I don't care, you got curfew. Like, you can, like, people looking around like, is he serious? Like, what? Then we go home. I was staying off campus at the time. And I walk out my house to take the trash to the trash can. And I see a security guards in there at my door. I'm like, what? He's not playing. Like, he's dead serious. We got security guards sitting outside our door and just, hey, y'all can't leave. Y'all leave. I was told to report you at right then and right now. I was like, wow. Are you kidding me? Like, this is serious? And that was one of my stories. Him, I was like, Gene was not playing. Like, he meant business. Then we go to Malzahn. So Malzahn is a type of guy that he's straight up with you. He don't hesitate. He don't like hold back for what he say to you. He can just tell you how he feel. And I think we was going into play Texas A&M at home, and the whole week the receivers that was in my position had to come down and crack and block. And every day he'll see me in the building or wherever he see me, you're just a skirt. You soft as net. Like, you as soft as baby poop. You are a skirt. I was like, why are you telling him? And every time I go in there and watch film, Sammie, that's how you gonna block? Do you need to put on, do I need to give you a skirt? You gonna block like that's how you gonna block? And every day until that game, and the crazy thing about it, that's one of my best blocking games, Texas A&M game. And I guess because he just kept calling me skirt, I was like, I gotta prove it to him that I'm not no skirt. Like, why is he calling me a skirt? That's his favorite word to call you when you being soft. You a skirt. You got on a skirt. Like, the way he said it just eggs you. And after that game, he said, Sammie, that's how you block. And the funniest thing about that, when he was down coaching in Florida, he was the head coach in Orlando. He got me to come down and talk to the team. And he showed some of my clips, and all I can remember him saying, calling me that whole week was a skirt. And I'm looking at these blocks I was making in that game. I was like, nah, he can't call me a skirt now. But no, I had some good times with those guys. There's great coaches. Malzahn, still one of my good people I talk to. He's always answer. He always give me advice. So they was both great coaches. They always been there for me. So I can't say anything bad about those guys.
Gotcha. So, Sammie, look, man, I have thoroughly enjoyed discussing your career with you. If you would, please let everybody know where they can keep up with you and follow you on social media, and, of course, your brand new coaching adventure up there in Huntsville.
Yeah, I'm excited about this next journey in my life. Right now, I'm in the process of getting support, getting sponsors. So if you want to support the Columbia High School football team, please reach out to me. You can find me on my Instagram at Sammie Coates, just my name, and my Twitter is Sammie Coates 11, and my Facebook is my name. So if y'all want to reach out, you want to be a sponsor, you want to do anything to help this program turn around, I'll 1,000% appreciate it. So I'm looking forward to more time with you. I'll get another interview soon. Hopefully, I enjoyed it. It was great. And thank y'all for having me.
Hey, Sammie, I will leave you with this. War Eagle, my friend.
War Eagle.
And Sammie, I would love to catch up with you during the season to get your take on how Auburn's wide receiving core is doing.
Yeah, they got some dogs, so it's gonna be exciting to see.
All right, man. Well, happy Easter, and we will definitely do it again in the future, okay?
Thank you. Happy Easter.
All right. So, guys, that is going to wrap up the wonderful interview with former Auburn wide receiver Sammie Coates. Really do want to thank him for taking time out of his schedule of coaching and preparing his kids now for high school and getting ready to start his new adventure up there in Huntsville. Good luck to Coach Coates up there. And that's going to put a wrap on this edition of the Stingray Show.